I found the ritual in an old leather-bound book at the local thrift store, hidden among dusty paperbacks and forgotten tomes. The book seemed out of place, its cover decorated with intricate symbols and strange illustrations. Intrigued, I took it home, unaware of the nightmare I was about to unleash. Curiosity got the best of me. Flipping through the pages, I found a chapter titled, Summoning Smile Ryan. According to the book, Smile Ryan was a supernatural entity that could be summoned through a specific ritual. The description of Ryan chilled me to the bone, a pale white man with red eyes and sideburns, an unnaturally huge grin, wearing a black top hat, a long black jacket, blue jeans, with no shoes and a white t-shirt. He sounded like something out of a horror movie, but I couldn't resist the urge to try the ritual. The instructions were simple but terrifying. First, flick the lights on and off 7 times, then keep them off. Turn on your cell phone light and shine it at the mirror while smiling. As you keep the smile on your face, chant the following words: Oh Ryan, I'm here to play, come out dear Ryan, hear what I say, crawl from the mirror, please find a way, my home is your home, come here and stay. It seemed too ridiculous to be real, but I had to know. That night, I waited until everyone in the house was asleep. With trembling hands, I flicked the lights on and off 7 times. The darkness felt suffocating as I turned on my cell phone light and shined it at the mirror. Forcing a smile, I began the chant. Oh Ryan, I'm here to play, come out dear Ryan, hear what I say, crawl from the mirror, please find a way, my home is your home, come here and stay. For a moment, nothing happened. I felt silly, standing there grinning at my reflection. Then, the air grew cold, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. In the mirror, my reflection started to distort, the edges blurring as if something was trying to push through. My smile faltered, but I forced it to stay. Suddenly, he appeared. Smile Ryan. His face emerged from the darkness of the mirror, his red eyes locking onto mine. The grin stretched impossibly wide, exposing rows of sharp, gleaming teeth. He stared at me, unblinking, and then he started to crawl out of the mirror. I was paralyzed with fear as his hands reached through the glass, followed by his grotesque head, his body contorting unnaturally. I stumbled backward, my cell phone clattering to the floor. The dim light cast eerie shadows around the room as Ryan crawled toward me, his grin never wavering. My instincts kicked in, and I bolted for the door. I could hear his movements behind me, the sound of scraping and cracking as he dragged himself closer. I ran down the hallway, my heart pounding, but no matter how fast I ran, I could feel him getting closer. I threw open the front door and fled into the night. Glancing back, I saw him standing in the doorway, his red eyes glowing in the darkness. He didn't chase me outside, but I knew he was waiting. Terrified and out of breath, I made my way to a friend's house. I spent the night there, too scared to go home. The next morning, I gathered my courage and returned to my house. It was silent, eerily so. I crept inside, half expecting Ryan to leap out at me, but he was nowhere to be seen. Over the next few days, I tried to return to normal life. My family noticed my jumpiness, but I couldn't bring myself to tell them what I'd done. I avoided the mirror in my room, too afraid to even look at it. But then, strange things started happening. At night, I would hear faint whispers coming from the direction of the mirror. Shadows flickered on the walls, and I would catch glimpses of movement out of the corner of my eye. One night, I woke up to find the mirror covered in handprints, as if someone had been trying to claw their way out. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to find a way to stop Smile Ryan. I went back to the book, hoping it might contain some sort of banishing ritual. But all I found were warnings. Once summoned, Smile Ryan cannot be dismissed. He is bound to your home, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the moment to strike. Panic set in. I realized my only chance of safety was to never be in the house alone, to never give him the opportunity to catch me off guard. I started staying out late, spending nights at friends' houses whenever I could. But I knew it was only a temporary solution. My family couldn't understand why I was acting so strangely, and I couldn't bring myself to explain. Then, one night, I made a mistake. I was home alone, my parents out for dinner and my siblings at a friend's house. I had forgotten to make plans, and by the time I realized, it was too late. I could feel his presence, the cold air seeping into my bones, the whispers growing louder. Desperately, I barricaded myself in my room, trying to keep my eyes away from the mirror. The minutes felt like hours, as I sat in the darkness, every creak and groan of the house making my heart race. Suddenly, the whispers stopped, replaced by a low, sinister laugh. I turned my head slowly, and there he was. Smile Ryan, standing in the corner of my room, his red eyes glowing, his grin stretching impossibly wide. He took a step forward, and I screamed, scrambling for the door. I ran out of the house, not daring to look back. As I reached the street, I glanced over my shoulder and saw him standing at the window, watching me with that horrifying grin. He couldn't leave the house, but I knew he was waiting for me to come back. I don't know how to stop him. I don't even know if there is a way. All I know is that Smile Ryan is still there, lurking in the shadows of my home, waiting. I didn't sleep that night, and when the sun finally rose, I knew I had to figure out a way to deal with Smile Ryan. Exhausted and terrified, I returned home, but I couldn't stay there alone. My family was confused and worried, but I couldn't tell them the truth. They wouldn't believe me, and I couldn't risk their safety. Days turned into weeks, and the horror became a constant presence in my life. Smile Ryan never spoke, but his sinister giggle echoed through the halls, a chilling reminder of his presence. The whispers, those dreadful voices of his former victims, grew louder whenever he was near. I could almost make out their words, pleading, warning, but it was always just out of reach. Smile Ryan liked to toy with me. He would crawl after me at an unnatural speed, his limbs contorting grotesquely. Sometimes, I would catch him peeking around walls, his mouth wide open in a silent scream, eyes rolled back, drool dripping from his gaping mouth, as he growled like a rabid animal. The sight was enough to freeze my blood, but I couldn't stop moving. Stopping meant he would get closer. One night, I was sitting on my bed, trying to calm my racing heart. The house was quiet, and I was the only one awake. Suddenly, I felt a cold breeze on my feet. I looked down, and there he was, reaching out from under the bed. His fingers were long and bony, his nails sharp and dirty. I scrambled away, barely avoiding his grasp. I ran to the living room, trying to put as much distance between us as possible. But Smile Ryan was relentless. I could hear his giggle, the sound of his movements, the whispers. He was always there, lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The worst part was the growing sense of inevitability. I knew I couldn't keep running forever. Every time I thought I had a moment of peace, he would appear, peeking around a corner, or crawling towards me with that horrible grin. I was trapped in a never-ending nightmare, my home no longer a place of safety but a prison. I tried everything to stop him. I covered up the mirrors, thinking that might sever his connection, but it made no difference. I attempted to perform cleansing rituals from the book, but they only seemed to anger him. His presence grew more intense, his games more terrifying. One night, I woke up to the sound of my door creaking open. I knew it was him, before I even saw him. The whispers filled the room, a bunch of desperate, tortured voices. I tried to stay still, hoping he wouldn't notice me, but then I saw his hand reaching around the door frame, followed by his head, his eyes rolled back, mouth wide open, drool dripping onto the floor. He crawled towards me, faster than ever before. I jumped out of bed and ran, my heart pounding in my chest. I could hear his giggle, his nails scraping against the floor as he chased me. I made it to the front door and flung it open, not daring to look back. Outside, I felt a momentary sense of relief. Smile Ryan couldn't follow me here. But I knew he was waiting, watching from the shadows of the house. I could see his silhouette in the window, those red eyes glowing in the darkness. I started staying with friends more often, but I couldn't escape the whispers. They followed me, haunting my dreams, reminding me of the horror that awaited me at home. My family noticed my absence and my growing paranoia, but I couldn't tell them the truth. They wouldn't understand, and I couldn't risk them trying to help. One day, I came home to find my younger brother standing in front of my bedroom mirror, his face pale, and eyes wide, with fear. He had found the book and tried the ritual, thinking it was just a game. I grabbed him and pulled him away, but it was too late. Smile Ryan had another victim to torment. Now, we're both trapped in this nightmare. Smile Ryan toys with us, crawling after us, peeking around corners, reaching out from under beds. The whispers are louder, more insistent, the voices of those who came before us, warning us of what's to come. We live in constant fear, never knowing when he will strike, only that he will. Our home is no longer a sanctuary but a hunting ground, and Smile Ryan is the predator. We're running out of options, and I don't know how much longer we can survive. If you're reading this, please, heed my warning. Don't try the ritual. Don't summon Smile Ryan. Because once he comes for you, there is no escape.